Hello guys, welcome to my channel where we are learning about Playwright topics using JavaScript. So today's topic is most interesting, like what is tagging concept in Playwright. Okay, so first of all we need to know what is tagging and where we can use this tagging concept. Okay, so in Playwright tagging means adding some labels in the sense sanity, smoke, regression, security, any labels that you want to add as part of your test cases. Okay. So the simple definition is tagging is equal to giving some name or label to a test cases. So later part of the story, you can execute it by using that name or label. Suppose I'll give example, you have some 100 test cases in your tests automation test suite, and you don't know which one is smoke, which one is regression, which one is sanity, because every time, so if you have a 100 test cases, so let's assume that it is very possible to do that. But if you have some 3000 test cases, then it's quite difficult for anyone to identify what are the smoke, what are the sanity, what is the regression test cases you have in your 3000 test cases. Okay, and suppose there is a scenario that developer will give you one build and they will tell you to execute only the smoke test cases. Then as a tester, you don't you have no choice other than that for searching what are the smoke test cases you have written. Okay, so if you have this kind of problem, then this tagging feature will come into picture. So what you can do in all of your test cases, we'll understand in the practical session how you can do that. But just understand you have to add some, suppose out of these 3000 test cases, you have some 50 or test cases is as part of the smoke test cases. So you have to add that at the rate smoke tag into that test cases, and whenever the developer will give you the build, you will just need to execute the command so that it will filter out all your smoke test cases, all your 50 test cases from your 3000 test cases. Is not that cool? Okay, so likewise you can implement this tagging feature. Okay, so if you can see, tagging helps us when you have many test cases and you don't want to run all of them every time. For example, run only the smoke before the deployment, run only the regression test at night, and run only the login related test cases for debugging. Okay, so these are the scenario that you can face in a real time. So let's understand how we can implement it. Okay, so I'll create one for test case called as tagging dot spec.js. Okay, tagging dot spec.js. So what I'll do, I'll write the import statement that is constant, and inside that test comma expect. This is the basically I'm here to write. Then require, and inside that in a single quote you have to import the playwright test module. Okay, so what we'll do, I'll write a simple program, will not complicate it. I'll write a simple test cases. It will take one parameter, suppose tc1. Okay, and I will write a tc hyphen uh, tc1 hyphen suppose verify login. This is suppose that this is a test case name. Okay, okay, leave it. We'll not write any logic. TC1, and we'll write at the rate smoke. Suppose this is my test case one. You can write anything, verify login scenario, anything. But in my case, I'm simply writing test case one. Okay, and I'm giving the tag as smoke. And obviously, apart from that, we'll take two parameters. That is, one is async method, and it will take fixed page as a fixture parameter, and we can add the arrow function. This is my first test case and this is smoke one. And I will write a console.log, and here I will write this is my this is part of smoke test cases. Okay. This is my one test cases. Similarly, I will add one more test cases, which is suppose DC2 and this is regression. Okay, and I will write this is my regression test case. Okay, not test cases, this is test case, right? Okay, and I'll write one. This is I'll write this is address. This is part of smoke and regression also, and this is my test case 3. Okay, and this is part of smoke and regression test cases. Okay, so you can see I've added three test cases. One is smoke, one is regression, and one is both uh, regression and also smoke. Okay, so now I will execute the test cases. So what I'll write npx playwright test. What is that file name? Tagging. So the reason why because I'm writing this slash test because I want to execute the smoke test cases of this particular spec file. But in real time, you don't need to give this file because in right now, whatever the test case that I have not added this tag, regression tag and smoke tag. So I've added only this particular spec file. So right now, that is only the reason why because I'm giving the path of the specific file. Okay, .js. So here what I'll do, I want to execute that test cases which is only having the smoke tag. Okay, so what I'll do, hyphen grep, this is you have to write, and in double quote you have to write the tag name smoke npx playwright test path of the file and hyphen grep. So if it will execute, if I'll execute this command, how many test cases should execute? So this particular test case having the smoke tag, and so is this test case 3. So it should execute two test cases out of this spec file. Let's execute. See, two test cases, clear? Okay. Now, if I'll execute one more test cases, suppose I'll execute one more, I have one more test cases which is having regression, one more regression test cases. I'll make it as 4 and okay. So now if I'll execute one same command using instead of smoke, I'll write a regression. Okay, spelling mistake is there. Regression. Okay. So now if I'll execute the test cases with regression tag, so it should execute 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see. It should execute test cases now. See, it executed 3 test cases. Clear? Now, if you want to see, you can also see that it executed 3 test cases. One is this one, these 3 test cases TC3, TC4, and TC2. Okay, TC2, 3, 4. If you can see 2, 3, and 4. Okay, but now I want to execute those test cases, those smoke test cases, but it should not have the regression tag as well. That means, see, this is smoke and this is also smoke, but I want to execute those test cases which is having only the smoke tag, no other tag, simply no other tag. So that means this is also smoke, this is also smoke. But in this case, the smoke test case is also a part of regression test, which I don't want to execute. I want to execute only those test cases which is having only and only one tag, and that is smoke tags. That also might be the requirement of your project. Okay, so in that case, you can what exactly you can do npx playwright test and you have to give the path grep smoke at the rate smoke. Okay, here what you need to write again you have to write grep sorry grep and hyphen invert. You have to write invert invert, and you have to write at the rate regression. Okay, I want to execute only smoke test cases, but that should not be a part of any other test case regression sanity. So if there is one more sanity is there, then hyphen hyphen grep info invert at that sanity that you have tried. So if I'll execute this command, it should execute only one test case. See, okay. So this is how you can use this tagging concept in your project, in your framework, in your test framework. Okay, I hope you understood this concept. And if you have any doubt, then you can like drop a comment in this channel so that I will clarify the doubt right away. Okay, so this is all about tagging concept, and you must have understood this feature. So this is used only whenever you want to execute only smoke, only regression. So uh, this is how you can utilize this feature of tagging in your test framework. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. I will meet in the next video with some new topic of playwright. Okay, till then, thank you and goodbye.